What's up, friends of the internets, and welcome back to the Jube Tube. Today we're going to be talking about the Google Home, and more specifically, the Google Home Mini. Look at this thing. Look how tiny it is. It's a palm of my hand. That's how big it is. That's the first thing I noticed with this when I got it in the mail. Crazy small. When they say mini, it's definitely mini. So a lot of you out there might be thinking this is a little late. The Mini's been out for a while. The Google Home has been out for a while. But I wanted to give a secondary review to this because for some of you who know me, I bought the Google Home, the regular one, the now medium-sized one, about a year ago when it first came out. And I took it back within 2 weeks. I was not happy with it. Then, buying the Google Pixel 2, I got one for free and they shipped it to my house. After that occurred, I thought I would give it another go. It was free. Why not? Let's plug it in and let's really dive into the features of this thing and see if it's gotten any better. I can say with full confidence, absolutely. Like I said, I really wanted to like the Google Home when I first bought it, but I took it back. For the price tag and for what it was giving me, I wasn't having it. I took it back immediately. Also, it had a lot of trouble understanding the things that I was saying, which sounds really odd. I feel like Google Assistant has always been pretty good, but it had a lot of trouble. This Google Home Mini has had no trouble figuring out what I've got to say, doing the things I'm asking it to do, and I'm really happy with it. For those of you who don't really know what the Google Home is or does, it's basically just a smart home speaker and it's a Google Assistant. So if you've used the Google Assistant, whether you have the app on iOS or you have an Android phone, Google phone that has the Assistant, it's basically that. What I like though is it's more tailored to be your kind of home helper. So when I ask it certain questions on my phone, I'm going to get kind of Google search, Google results type answers. It's going to try to help me find what I'm looking for. Or if I'm cooking something, which I like to do, and I ask the Google Assistant, what's my next step? Or what's a good recipe for this thing? Or anything along those lines in the kitchen, it's going to give me a tailored response to what I would need for what I'm doing at that time. So I really enjoy how they're the same brain, but they're going to talk to you just a little different. The other great thing is if you take the time to actually customize the Google Home, you're going to get an even more tailored response, which I again, greatly appreciate. So if you set up your calendar, you set up your contacts, if you live with another person or people, set up the different voices and it will give different answers based on those people. I've actually found this to be wildly successful between my wife and myself. If she says call mom, it's going to call her mom. If I say call mom, it's going to call my mom. It also does Spotify playlists. If I ask it to play a playlist that has the same name as her playlist on Spotify, it's again going to play the two different playlists. It doesn't take long at all to set up these options. There's a really nice Google Home app with a menu in there and it breaks down every category. Let me run through them. Music, home control, news, other speakers in the house, shopping list, shortcuts, calling, like I just mentioned, and calendar. These are all things that come already baked in, but you can do an if this then that setup to even further your functionality with these little devices. Now, that's just what the Google Home is. And like I said, when I first bought it, I thought it was just mostly marketing and I wasn't sold on it. So I took it back. This is a very different experience and a much better experience. What a lot of people may not know about the Google Home is that it has a little bit of personality and it really falls back to Google's personality, which is a little bit more fun. What I mean by a little bit fun is, let's use the Google Pixel 2 for an example. Their power button has a little touch of color on it just to be fun for no reason. One of the colors for the Google Home Mini is coral. It's just a nice off-the-wall color. It's fun. It's not taking itself too seriously. That goes for the brains of the assistant as well. My son, for example, loved the holiday season because you could say, hey Google, call Santa. And it would actually call Santa and it would interact with him. It would ask him questions and based on the answers, it would go from there. So it was a lot of fun. There's also certain commands in here that you can just tell it and it'll play like nature sounds or stuff just to calm you down. So there's little hidden gems that you can find the more you get into this. I mentioned my son likes to use this thing and I feel like this is a secondary comment to the smart home speakers, but hey Google is much easier to say than Alexa. I actually have friends that I work with that their kids are of age where they can speak, but you know, there's always the toddler speak and things are slurred a little bit and they're cute, right? They can't say Alexa, they can't interact with it. However, my son can perfectly say, hey Google, and dive right into talking with it, making it play songs that he likes. And to me, that's a home run. Now, the biggest question outside of Is it really as smart as it says it is? Is it really worth it? Which I say yes. If you haven't picked that up by now, I absolutely say yes. Does size matter? It's a question on all of our minds, really. We're all thinking it. Does it? I'm going to say no. I don't think so. Let me clarify. For the average everyday user, the Mini is perfect. There's no need to get anything bigger than that. And actually, I think it's a better buy to get several of these Minis, set them at different areas of your house, set them all up together, and then you've got it throughout your house. You can set it up to your Chromecast, you can set it up to your lights, you can set it up to other smart things in your house, and if you have one everywhere, you're set up for everything. And you can set up custom demands no matter where you're at, and you just say, hey Google, time for bed. Or hey Google, I'm ready to go to sleep. And it'll do its little scenes and everything and shut all the lights off. Like, that's awesome. Just set them up around your house. The regular Google Home is just gonna give you a little bit better sound, and the Google Home Max is gonna give you absolutely great sound. So if you're a music lover, I would actually say that your investment needs to be $800. They're $400 a piece. It needs to be $800 to set up multiple speakers to really make your house a ridiculous theater. That's pretty much your investment for that. So $50 versus $800. You know, most people can't swing that. One $400 speaker is nice. That would be more than enough for most people. But two would be the ideal situation. While you can spend $50 on one of these, or $30 when they go on sale, you know it's going to happen again, and set them up all throughout your house. And now I mentioned sound being important here, but honestly, this little Mini is perfect for my house. I set it up in the corner of my kitchen, and that sound carries. I have it on like volume 6 or 7 most of the time, and I can still hear it doing whatever I need to do, music playing throughout the house. So for just speaking with the Google Home, it's perfectly fine, and I don't need it any louder. For music, I honestly don't need it any louder than it is, and I think that the sound quality is great for $50. I can't complain at all with what's coming out of these speakers. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this week's video. Long story short, the too long didn't read for this. Buy this thing. If you're on the fence at all, get this. You get the Google ecosystem. You get the Google Assistant. This thing is really smart. I'm very pleased with the output and the responses I'm getting and everything in between. It's really great. The sound quality is, I think, great for what you're paying for. And I really can't find anything to complain about with this little bitty thing. If you've got a Google Home Mini, Google Home, or Google Home Max, fill up those comments below. Let me know what you guys think. Are you satisfied with the Assistant and how this thing spits out answers for you guys? Is it as smart as you would like it to be? What do you think the sound quality is? Do you hate it? Let me know. Like I said, fill it up. I love to talk to you guys about this stuff. Hit that red button down there on my cartoon face. Click on that. Share this with your friends, guys. I appreciate you, and I'll see y'all again next time.